Alexa, show me my baby.
Okay.
There she is.
Yo, my fellow and future outlaws, this is your in-ring rundown, and I am that N.A.K., aka Double G. Welcome to the show that's here to point out all the little things in life while you all sit there and do exceptionally little in yours. This week on Cena Force 1, WWE Smackdown comes to us live from the Performance Center, of course. I mean, man, they really like doing all of their shows there all of a sudden. It's almost like it's essential or something. Oh look, it's a recap of last week's storyline involving the supposedly drunk Jeff Hardy causing a car accident and severely injuring Elias. I think my favorite thing in all of this is when Braun plays the part of a crazed street civilian who just saw something that he can't believe or explain properly.
The guy just jumped out of him and took off running. I went over there to see what's going on, and Elias is laying on the ground.
To make up for this heinous action, Jeff Hardy begins the show by coming down to the ring and tried to explain his side of the story. Traveling down the ramp surrounded by glass walls and the NXT superstars who are there to cheer him alongside. If you look closely, you'll notice that there is not a glass ceiling because Vince McMahon did not want to install one and give anyone the impression that they had the chance of breaking through it. Hardy grabs the mic and claims that he was knocked out from behind and has no idea what happened to him. That he had no memory of what was going on until he was being pulled out of the car. But before finishing though, he makes sure to sincerely apologize to Elias.
And a good man, Elias, luckily walked away with serious injuries.
That's right, Jeff. It's sure lucky for Elias to be randomly struck by a moving vehicle and put in the hospital with severe injuries. That's definitely the best outcome that could have happened, right? They definitely thought about what they were doing when they wrote these lines, right? Hardy goes on to speak in a tone that makes me actually wonder if he thinks his life is being directed by Steven Spielberg before the pasty white god known as Sheamus comes out to interrupt him. Calling Jeff nothing more than a washed up junkie and definitely not falling back on a certain punkish storyline that I think we went through about 11 years ago. These words bait the not so young one to the top of the ramp where he's swiftly met with a brogue kick, followed by a personal tour of the structural integrity of these glass walls. Otis is backstage with his golden goddess, showing us all how to be a role model by stealing King Corbin's very valuable and sentimental crown that he apparently just left on this chair in the middle of the hallway. Corbin appears about 30 seconds later to find a note covered in peach juice that reads, "Dear King Nothing, where is your crown?" Blinded by rage, Corbin rushes to the ring to meet Otis in a match of nearly zero proportions. And while normally the strength and anger of the King does him well, Otis's love for Mandy has him in a state of no fear, tossing him all around the ring in the beginning moments of the match. Impressingly enough, the King of Disappointment manages to put down the big man with a spinebuster before attempting to whittle his stamina down with the most devastating move in all of wrestling, the headlock.
Corbin.
Now, Otis, this is a family show. You're gonna have to watch your mouth. Oh, and by the way, I know we rolled into the Performance Center together, and this may not be the best time to tell you, but some punk hit your car with his bike in the middle of the parking lot.
Corbin.
I know, dude, I know. But on the plus side, I did get the camera footage, and then I managed to track that guy down. He just needed a little talking to.
Oh yeah!
Corbin decides that this match is approaching an actual acceptable level of storyline, so he decides to strike Otis with a chair, getting himself DQ'd. Naturally, Otis just absorbs the blow and counters with the Caterpillar. Sweet, that achieved a lot. Now let's head over to our very respectable and very serious WWE Universal Championship storyline, where The Miz and Maury are hiding in a rape van full of camera ready to play pranks on Braun Strowman. Yes, that is a legitimate assessment of the current situation. John and Mike then go on to do an accurate representation of the average WWE fan.
It's gonna be fun watching Braun Strowman fist and bow, yeah!
We're then treated to this poorly ass animated prank on Braun Strowman's protein drink because apparently that's all it takes to set off our current champion. Sweet. That achieves a lot. Then not at all covered in slime, Caleb Braxton is backstage interviewing Shorty J. Shit, never mind. Here's Mojo Rawley to still act like he's relevant. Wait, shit, never mind even harder because here's Nakamura and Cesaro sneaking up on him. No, take an even bigger shit and never mind the hardest because here's the New Day to make the save. Huh. You know, I just got this feeling. I wonder if there's gonna be a 6-man impromptu tag team.
And just announced 6-man tag team action after the confrontation backstage earlier tonight.
It's Lacey Evans versus Sonya Deville, and oh shit, that didn't take long. Yes, these two heated rivals are fighting over the most important and decorated thing possible, hair color.
Great athleticism into a schoolboy. Deville got clipped.
Hey, back it up. Hey, get some help.
I know in order to be a referee, you're required to have a low base defense stat, but what the fuck was the point of that? Sonya is about to take victory tonight before Giant Mandy appears on the screen to call her a failure at Break the Target. So because Lacey and Mandy Rose are definitely baby faces right now, they used unfair tactics to make sure Sonya Deville loses as a proper heel. Nice. And because this is the WWE and not an episode of Double Dare, the interview between Braun Strowman and Caleb Braxton does not, I repeat, does not spiral off into any sort of ridiculous 4th grade level of humor perpetrated by 2 men hiding in a van that could definitely get them sex offender charges. I repeat, none of these things are actually happening. Since Caleb Braxton is too busy still looking amazing covered in slime, Renee Young is summoned to the ring for this face-to-face. A face-to-face between 2 men who have been close personal friends and have known each other very well for years. And no, for once, someone is not talking about Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, but the in-ring gods known as Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. Daniel Bryan begins the promo by wishing for something that is simply never going to happen.
When the WWE Universe tunes into Friday Night Smackdown, I want them to be excited each and every week.
Upset with AJ's choice to take a bye into the finals, Daniel berates him repeatedly, saying that unlike the lazy desires of AJ, he's going to be a champion who fights every week. Unfortunately for AJ, without the other members of the OC here to pull back his hair, he can't hear things clearly and gets confused, agreeing to put up his chance at the finals against Daniel Bryan's own coach, Drew Gulak. Naturally, a man who I wasn't 100% sure still worked here a few weeks ago comes down to the ring to take the opportunity towards his first IC title shot. But I mean, this is all for show, right? I mean, there's no way in hell he's actually going to win against AJ. I mean, he's never had the belt as well, so, I mean, there's no way he's going to lose this match, right? Drew Gulak sneaks to the roll-up and pins AJ Styles cleanly in the middle of the ring, stealing his opportunity away from him. What the fuck? Breaking news! The Miz and Maury have been found near Braun Strowman's car with foreign objects. I think we have some footage.
Do you see what happens, Larry?
That is some disturbing footage, ladies and gentlemen. Stay safe. It's a new day, yes it is, but it may be a little short, so dress appropriately. Yes, of course, I'm talking about the very important 6-man tag team matchup that's happening between men who interacted earlier on tonight. Something that I'm 94% sure that has never happened before. So this is exciting. The New Day start out the match strong with some flippy shit like usual, but even more like usual, those flippies turn into hurt leggies, leaving them in a disadvantaged state for the bulk of the match. But since this is an impromptu match involving the New Day, they're contractually obligated to win the match with a double team move. With the only difference this time being that Nakamura and Cesaro were unable to get into the ring and stop it because Shorty G was holding their legs. Does anyone remember when Nakamura was seen as a top WWE superstar? That was a short couple of weeks. Braun makes his way back to the car only to see the destruction that has been laid upon it, as Miz and Morrison Povich hide in this not at all conspicuous van about 100 yards away. Unfortunately, this man is not a true Gallagher and snitches on them immediately, allowing Braun to find what he can only assume is a large vending machine. Desiring nothing more than a bag of chips, he shakes the machine violently but can seem to procure nothing from the bottom, swiftly tipping the machine over and leaving the dastardly duo with a severe case of ouchies and boo-boos. It's main event time for the SmackDown Women's Tag Team Championship, being defended against who I legit thought was the Iconics at first, but no, it's the legit boss and the SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley. The now, according to Michael Cole, near 300-day reign as champion because God forbid he actually fucking not go back and forth each week on if he remembers if Charlotte beat her or not. Cross comes hot out of the gate, beating down Sasha and Bayley with a level of ferocity that Corey Graves can only describe as a Tasmanian devil. Which, while maybe accurate, I like to think she's more like my younger sister back when she was 16 and hormonal and I would try to give her a powerbomb with little to no warning. Nikki Cross then plays the part of Vince McMahon in a reenactment of their job interview.
Nikki Cross.
Belong to me! No, I don't want you!
Deep into the match, Sasha is about to get the win on Cross with a big statement when Bayley decides that this is as good as time as any to have a seizure, randomly flying about until she manages to convince Sasha to let her in and try the move in a very shitty fashion herself.
It's illegal.
What
The hell is Bayley doing? Bayley realized the official.
What was the point of that? What the fuck was the point of that? Sasha tries her best to square off with Nikki and lock her in the bank statement one more time, leading to a roll-up sequence that leaves Nikki Cross vulnerable to a crucifix pin, and legitimately surprising yours truly by becoming the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Now, Bayley did agree to do an interview with me after the match, so let's see if we can get some words in about how she feels. Alright, Bayley, I see you're quite excited there. Do you think you can tell us how you feel, maybe without the headbanging a little bit, just for a second? You know, I paid a lot of money for this interview, so maybe... No, please don't go faster. I paid a lot of money. Can you please... Bayley! No! Come... Bayley! Bayley! Well, that's it for this week's rundown. I want to thank you all for watching. Be sure to hit that like, hit that sub, hit that bell, and leave a comment telling me that you're as scared as I am of Bayley now. Tune in next week where I do the next WWE pay-per-view, Backlash. I'm really looking forward to Braun Strowman versus Jeff Bridges and John Goodman. It should be a barn burner. And of course, a shout out to all my patrons. We're about 26 strong now with a few Leyline Outlaws. And you know it's only a matter of time before you have a piece of beautiful merch with my beautiful face on it. I know that's what you want. And this week's patron highlight goes out to B&E Gaming. This chill motherfucker has been supporting me for a while now, and it looks like he's starting his own YouTube channel. Now, he doesn't have too much at the moment, but let's watch a preview of the trailer that he put up. I'm not gonna lie, that actually looks pretty cool and well done, so I look forward to seeing what you can do. So everyone who's watching this, get your boy to 100 by the end of the month. Do it. This has been the man from Earth with all the girth, telling you the big character you know you're worth. You want some merch? But since this isn't Drew Gulak sneaks in a roll up and pins AJ. Drew Gulak sneaks in a roll up and pins AJ. Now let's head over to our very respectable and very serious WWE. Deep into the. And no, before you say it, I don't mean Donald Trump and Vladimir. Donald Trump, Jesus. Followed by a personal tour. Followed by a personal tour of the structural integrity. Followed by a personal tour. I can't say tour. Holy shit. This has been the man for. This has been the man for. And legitimately surprising yours truly by coming the new SmackDown Women's Championships. And legitimate. I have to shit so bad.